All right, so we are at Charles Lindbergh State Park, really close to the parking lot. It is peak leaf season around here, roughly close to it. So there's like 1 million people and it's a Sunday. But kind of a fun little entrance way to this, park. This tree here's about 280 years old, struck by lightning in 1986. And there's a fire tower back there. Can't remember what exactly that was, if that was just a water tower. It's been a while since I read about it. Yeah, it's a water tower is what that guy is back there. But I think today we're going to do the hiking club trail. I've done it 1,000,000 times. But we're still just going to go out and get out. I've done this whole park, but just kind of felt like putting a video together. I got a couple bigger trips coming up soon where I want to learn how to do a better job at taking videos of some of the trips I've been on and stuff. So, yeah, the hiking club trail. The hiking club is a program that Minnesota puts on 68 parks. Basically, you go to each one, you hike a specified trail, and then you get a password. And after your first 100 miles, you get a free night stay. Just crossed mine. Actually, I'm up to 130. I just visited something like 16 parks in the last 3 weeks. This is definitely my time to go camping, but once you reach 100, you get a free night stay. Once you completed it, I think it was one on 198 miles, then you get 2 free nights stay and a plaque. But I've been working on mine for 3 years now. I'm at 44 parks out of the 68. So hopefully in the next year or two, I finish it. So, but yeah, great park, great entranceway. You don't have to go too far to get to some scenic stuff. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be following the club trail. Let's go see some more of it. Okay, so this is the hiking club trail. We're gonna go south, do the big loop here, and then head all the way up there. It usually takes me like an hour to hike this thing, something like that, but it starts right across from this bridge over here. And let's do that trail, huh? It's a fairly easy hike. Most of it's rolling hills, but there is a couple stairways to climb up. Nothing crazy, nothing like the North Shore or southeast Minnesota. Most of this area of Minnesota is pretty flat. Definitely my favorite types of trails. There's a huge loop on the south side, southwest side, excuse me, of the park. It's one of 2 longer loops, and they're only like 2 miles long or something. But most people stay away from those places. When you go to any other state park, those first group of attractions, a bridge, a waterfall, a river, some kind of scenic outlook, and you're looking at just a horde of people, especially on a Sunday in peak leaf season. So typically, a lot of people ask, how the hell do you avoid these crowds? The best way to avoid crowds is just to go for a half mile, walk out in the woods, mile walk out in the woods, and then the people usually thin out. But it is a Sunday during peak leaf change, although it's not really looking awfully green around here, but it brings in a lot more people. So I have run into more people than I normally do out here, but that's all right. It's still generally scarce for crowds at this point in time. So yeah, we started way up here. We came around. We're at the very bottom right here, and this is where you always expect to see the least amount of people. This next stretch should be pretty nice. We do have this crash site we're gonna go look at, but there might be people out there, but we'll see when we get there. All right, guys, so we are still in that southern half. This is a crash site out here for one of Charles Lindbergh's planes. I don't remember the story. We're going to check it out here in a second. This is on the southern half of that loop, the hiking club trail. So let me read about this real quick. So basically, this is his landing site of the Jenny that he had. It was like his first plane. Landed in his first plane. But basically, he was a young 21-year-old with an airplane. And I guess this is his landing site, I would imagine. This is all trimmed down. I would imagine these trees have filled in the area quite a bit since that all happened 100 years ago almost. But nice little stop, nice little waypoint on that southern loop. I did have somebody ask me if it was worth coming out here before I left. And my suggestion was no. These people did not seem like they liked walking. That was, they were out at a state park asking the shortest route out here and if it's worth it. And I just told them it was meadow. It's meadow in the middle of the woods. And I haven't seen them yet. I went one way, they went the other way, which the other way is supposed to be shorter. So who knows if they made it or not. But that's just a nice little break on that south loop. So we just finished the south loop. We did all this down here and up to here. Actually, the Jenny's not too far from here. Might be a little off scale, but now we're going to do the north half all the way up here, which is well over a mile to get up there and back. And then we'll be back here and then at the parking lot eventually. So this is another favorite spot where we just will not see a lot of people coming out here. So let's head out, check it out. So now we're in that north half of the loop. And one thing I do like is the south half is it's all covered in trees. You don't really get the sun. There's no open areas other than that, what do you call it? The Jenny site, crash or landing site. But this is all open. Get a little bit more sun. Today is like 50 degrees. A little cool in the, go. A little cool in the, shade. But out in the sun, kind of warms you up a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, it's nice that there's two different trails that are part of the hiking club that are so different. So very enjoyable. Now I will say this north half, the northwest side of the trail does tend to get a little muddy at times. I think it was last fall maybe, or in the spring, I had to walk through that grassy field that you guys saw earlier because the top, northwest corner of this does tend to get a little bit muddy. These tire tracks are most likely from park maintenance. I don't know long term if they're what they'll do with that, if they'll patch it up or maybe put some different kind of media in because the ruts just don't work. Maybe put a bridge in or something. But yeah, last time I was here, last year sometime, I had to cut through this tall grass, which in the spring isn't nearly as bad as it is now. So just fair warning, it does get a little muddy. They had a nice little bench out here from the local Boy Scouts. The benches are pretty nice to just rest your legs sometimes if you're out hiking. But yeah, I'm guessing these guys donated or put together or something. So good job, Boy Scouts. Thanks. Officially at the northernmost point of the hiking club trail. Typically my favorite way to go is to cross the river at this bridge and then take this way down, all the way down to the bottom. But we're going to stick with the hiking club trail, which is along here. And we are definitely back in the woods compared to, the prairie grass we had before. So let's continue on. Yeah, still on that, what would be the northeast side of the big loop, in the top, top right quarter of it. A lot of leaves down. Like I said, we're back in the woods, very much covered. A lot of yellows, a little bit of green yet, and then a lot of dead leaves in the ground. It's really weird seeing the North Shore this year hit peak like a week and a half earlier than it usually does. It has in the last 3-4 years. But they seem to turn colors all uniformly, like The whole North Shore just turned orange and red in the matter of 2 weeks. Whereas in central Minnesota, it seems like very uneven this year. Still a lot of green on the trees, a lot of dead stuff on the ground. So some trees already turned, not a lot of others have. So our trip's pretty much coming to an end. Here's another scenic overlook over this river. You can kind of see way in back, there's a bridge. Probably not you guys, but there's a bridge back there. That's where we started. But the river walk's kind of nice. You're so far above it, it's kind of hard to see. There is a lot of debris in there right now, but you know, still, it's another cool part of the trail that makes it just a little bit different on the 2 loops. So yeah, we're right here, and then we're heading down to this bridge, and that's pretty much where we started. So that does it for the hiking club trail. I think since we're here, there's a few other cool things to see. We'll just keep going with this video just to get Charles Lindbergh's house, the Mississippi, on that walk in on this video too while we're at it. So we're right here. I think we're going to come down here and loop around and do this back trail before we leave. So yeah, this is a kind of a fun little walk along the river. More pine trees. We are pretty covered in trees again, but so we're right here. I think we're going to come down here and loop around and do this back trail before we leave. So yeah, this is a kind of a fun little walk along the river. More pine trees. We are pretty covered in trees again, but yeah, so this is a nice little segment on that south loop that has, you know, it's got a little bit of terrain to it, but the park itself, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but there's a campground here that you can stay at, a couple of them actually. It's out on a trail, it's a walk-in site, and I can't remember if they rent canoes or you're supposed to take them yourself, but there's canoe, you know, holders and stuff out here. The bathroom's a little bit of a walk. It's up this hill, but in the water too. But kind of cool having these campsites out on the river if you want some privacy. On the other hand, they seem like they're private, but man, there's a couple trails that come right through here. I've come through here a bunch of times with other people here. Not sure if it's definitely not my thing. I like my privacy, but I guess when it comes to this with the campsite, you're probably better off with this. So we walked around here. Those were the campsites I was talking about. But yeah, we came out, we crossed the river. I didn't follow the river walk, I followed this. I think what we're gonna do is just go down here, come up here, and then loop back to his house, to the Lindbergh house. There's a cool shelter back here somewhere. Yeah, I'll just do a quick loop around. So yeah, we have this nice little hike behind the Charles Lindbergh house. You can kind of see his house back up there in the woods. We have the Mississippi River on the right side of us. You know, this isn't the park I'd come to see the Mississippi River at. You do get to walk along it for a little bit, but I would hardly call it, you know, the most scenic view of the Mississippi. I mean, Crow Wing is better. Itasca obviously is pretty neat. But there are several, you know, Fort Snelling is really cool where you get to hike out where the Minnesota and Mississippi meet. But it still makes for a good walk. I mean, this is pretty much prime. Nice soft needles to walk on. A nice groomed trail. And then, of course, the Mississippi on the other side of you. So I skipped the shelter that was back there just because there's already a million people hanging out at the shelter. But now we're on the back side of the museum. To be honest, I haven't been in the museum since first grade. I think we came here in first grade. with elementary school. I keep meaning to find my way in there, but just haven't. That river trail brings you to the back side of it, and then you gotta switch back all the way up these steps. I think they would have put something more efficient in than this, but nope, gotta walk up back and forth through this. So this is a Lindbergh house. From what I understand, this was just like a summer house. It was a working farm. His dad was a congressman, but his dad directed this farm that he had started here, and it was mostly a summer home for Charles. That whole plane landing, you know, on that farm field out in that little valley, that was actually, I think it said it was the only time he ever really flew here. But this was their property till they donated it in, I think, 1931, they said. But you know, it's always funny that they attach themselves to these. Well, Charles Lindbergh, who was the first person to fly the Atlantic, across the Atlantic. This was more of a summer home that he didn't, it sounds like he didn't even come here that much. And I'm not trying to downplay this park, because it's a great park. And if you like, you know, old buildings, and my favorite part of seeing the inside of this house was, you know, seeing how people lived back then. But it doesn't sound like Lindbergh is connected to this actual park as much as you'd think he would be. But his family did donate it. He did grow up coming here, so, you know, that is something, I guess. So otherwise, that'll pretty much do it for this video from Charles Lindbergh State Park. I just wanted to do a quick video on the hiking club and some of the other things in the park. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like and subscribe button. I will have a link to my Instagram page that has all my outdoor stuff on it in the comments. Go ahead and check that out. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.